Hello, weird and wonderful people. My name is Malachi Frost, and welcome back to Interactive Horror Stories. We are up to our fourth story, which is The Evil Beneath the Ground. And I'm not sure, but I think that's what this image here is, the vampire stone lady with the bad lipstick. I think that's for Evil Beneath the Ground. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking it is. You are a goth university student with no friends. It's like you know me. But I'm not going to read the rest of it because we don't want spoilers. Evil Beneath the Ground. You're a young university student who identifies as a goth. That is a great way of saying that. You are a lonely person and people think that you want to be alone, but the fact is you just haven't found someone in which you feel an affinity. Everyone is so distant from you, nobody knows you or listens to the music that you love, like Bauhaus, This Mortal Coil, and Sisters of Mercy. Just gonna name drop the fact that I know bands. You heard about a university field trip to a lake and the forest around it in autumn. There would be a picnic, also alcohol is permitted, and you could bring your own drinks. You joined the field trip. Not only maybe you could make some new friends, but you also love the nature, especially when it's a cold season. But of course, you couldn't make new friends once again. During the 2 hours of bus travel, you found out that every other student who joined the trip were already friends. They simply ignored you, and you didn't approach them. As a result, all you could do during the bus trip was look outside the window or play games on your phone while you listened to their joyful laughter. You have mixed feelings about the picnic by the lake. You can't feel yourself as part of this joyful youth who are enjoying the nature trip. After having a picnic barbecue, they played a game with a ball in which they formed a circle and tried not to let the ball touch the ground. Everyone participated in the game except you. But you enjoyed the nature trip somehow. As said before, you love the nature. You took pictures of the lake with your phone. You don't plan to post the pictures anywhere though. And there is a huge forest near the picnic area. You have always found peace in the green of the forests. You're going to go for a walk and they're going to leave without you. You're going to be left there. After the sunset, people began to light a campfire and drink. People around your age generally prefer beer, but you don't really like it. You feel it overfills your stomach and causes nausea after 2 cans. Instead, you prefer stronger drinks. Today, you've brought a bottle of red wine and a wine glass. They gathered around the campfire while you drank your wine alone, away from them. I mean, I know I'd already said that we're not approaching them, but, you know, if you just sat around the campfire with your glass of wine instead of sitting by yourself, they might still ignore you, but at least you'd be present. A handsome guy brought his guitar from the bus and began playing it around the fire. I don't know his name. I only judge people on how they look. This is the handsome guy. While you have finished your second glass of wine, campfire and moon illuminate the darkness. The sun's already set. There are about 5 hours for the picnic to end, and then you'll be going back to the city with the buses. He is playing a calming song. You might join the group, but you also feel a strong urge to have a walk in the dark forest. See, if this was me and this is how I was feeling, especially after 2 glasses of wine, I am walking into the forest. You stand up and wander away from the picnic. You feel the cool of the dark forest. So you walk along the path into the forest. The trees are high and still green. Maybe they stay green in all seasons. You don't know. Your field is not biology. The soil is wet and muddy. It must have rained before your group arrived at the lake. You leave boot prints on the soil as you walk. Good. Someone will be able to find my body. There are no clouds in the sky. Full moon and stars illuminate the forest. But that's not enough for your eyes. You turn on the flashlight on your phone. There's an app for that. I'm pretty sure most phones since the 1940s have had flashlights on them. That's not true. You can't clearly see, but notice rabbits in the distance. Naturally, they run from you as they notice your presence. You begin to think you might have gone too far away from the picnic, but there is nothing interesting in the picnic area. You somehow feel like the darkness of the forest is your only friend. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Continue on the path, turn back to the picnic. I want to go chase the rabbits. You continue on the forest path. After a few minutes, you notice footprints in the soil. They seem to belong to a human with big, bare feet. Not a bear with human feet, but a human with bare feet. Probably a man. The prints cross the path. Follow his route back, turn back to the picnic site, or follow him. Okay, so I can either follow where the footprints went, or I can follow to where the footprints came from? I'd probably... If this guy's out here with bare feet, I'm not going to naturally assume monster. I'm going to assume that someone's out here with bare feet. They might need help. So I'm going to follow him. You follow the footprints in the soil. They keep changing direction, as if the person's lost and in need of help. You find yourself at an elevation and the prints stop here. Whoever was walking, he didn't leave prints that you could follow anymore. He might have gone anywhere, and he didn't follow a single direction. Okay, follow his route back. You decide to go to the place where he comes from. After a long walk, you find yourself at a hole. There is a lid and a long rope near it. The man clearly comes from the hole. His footprints prove it. When you hold your phone's light into the black hole, you see that there is a ladder inside. You can't see the end of the hole from your position. As a curious and drunk boy, you feel a strong urge to descend. I'm a boy. I don't think that was ever specified up until this point. For some reason, in my head, I was imagining myself as a lady. Turn back to pick the sack. Descend. Descend. Let's do this. Now that I know I'm a boy, I can make all the bad decisions. Casual sexism. As you need to use both your hands to climb down, you put your phone in your jeans pocket. Turning off the light, you start climbing down. After a few seconds, moon and stars above no longer illuminate what you see. You're in pitch black, and the ladder still continues. Finally, your feet touch the ground. You are so distant from the forest that you can't see the entrance of the hole from where you are. You carefully get onto your feet. You can see nothing. I'm waiting for sound effects, because this game, so far in the previous episodes, if you've watched them, if you haven't, go and watch them. Do it. And then while you're doing that, remember to like the video and subscribe. Do it. But the other episodes, they've had like one sound effect or maybe two sound effects. And it always scares me because the rest of the game is silent. So turn on the phone's lights. The place where you are is made of concrete. There is a long corridor in front of you. It is narrow, about 1 meter wide. It's not very high. There are only a few centimeters between your head and the ceiling of the corridor. You smell a terrible odor. It's the mixture of feces and something you can't understand. There are 3 doorless holes along the concrete corridor, making 3 rooms to discover. First room, second room, third room. First room. There's an empty wooden coffin. A mirror hangs on the concrete wall. A bloody razor and black whip stands in front of the mirror. We've walked into a BDSM hovel. In the mirror, you see your reflection and the terror on your face. The place where you are is made of concrete. There's a long corridor. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, second room. You are shocked to find a chained woman in this room. The chain is tied to her ankle. She looks to be in her 40s, too weak, her bones are noticeable, and a pale skin with lots of scars. Okay, so I'm guessing that's the woman in the background. She is on her knees, naked. Her body is lightly hairy except for her... Why do you need to mention that? Really? That's not a detail that I would say is relevant to the story. Her body is lightly hairy. Contrasting her hairy body, her head is shaved. She stinks. Not only the smell of feces, but also it looks like she wasn't washed for years. She screams as you point the light to her. Who are you? Try to save her. Run to the ladder. Talk to her. Who are you? She doesn't answer your question, but yells with despair. Help me, help me. He keeps me here. I would try to save her. You crouch down to her tied foot. There is no way you can remove the bracelet from her ankle, making it an anklet. You also notice that her pinky toe is missing. What happened to your toe? He made me eat it. Well, that's not good. Let me try to find the key. You try to leave the room, but something you don't understand happens. At the exit of the room, you hit something that wasn't visible in front of you. Yes, you saw nothing in front of you, yet you hit something. You fall onto the floor and an invisible force carries you and repeatedly smashes your head to the wall. You hear the woman screaming as you black out. Sound effect time? No? Okay, cool. That sound effect's gonna jump scare me. When you wake up, you find yourself lying on the concrete floor in pitch darkness. By the smell, you understand that you're in the same place. Whoever is keeping you captive has stripped you of all clothes. You are now naked and cold. There is a gag in your mouth so you can't shout and communicate with the woman. And she might be gagged too. You stand up and try to walk away, but your ankle is tied with a chain. You can walk only in a chamber with 1 meter of radius. Your foot touches a metal bucket. It's probably where he expects you to defecate. You lose all your sense of time here. You wait for an unmeasurable time for something to happen. You are thirsty and hungry. Sometimes you hear your phone ring, but it's in a different room. The piano melody is It's the Fear by Within Temptation, an ironic name for your situation. They probably noticed that you're missing and tried to reach you, especially your parents, who must have gone mad. Of course, you can't answer the call. Finally, you hear footsteps. You hear your captor coming to your room. You are unable to see anything. He takes your gag off, apparently has no problem seeing in the pitch black. And you hear his voice. Drink! It belongs to an old man, a dominant ordering voice. You feel the tip of a bucket on your lips. Who are you? I am your new master. You better behave well. You are mine now. Now drink, or I will not offer it to you again. Okay, drink. It is water that he's offering. Oh, thank God. I thought it was the other lady's bucket. You drink it, not the best water you drank. It could be taken from the lake, but you have no other choice, it seems. After you drink enough, he puts the bucket on the ground and brings something else to your lips. Eat. You are too hungry to refuse him. You allow him to put the thing in your mouth. It's meat, but raw. You can never eat raw meat except for sushi, but now you chew it slowly. It is rabbit, he says. You swallow the meat, despite how it disgusts you. After you eat all he gives you, he puts the gag on your mouth and leaves the room without saying another word. After a while, he comes back to where you are lying on the floor. Stand up, he orders. You get on your feet clumsily. He grabs your body and you feel two sharp fangs on your neck. He starts draining you of your blood, and you understand the true nature of your captor. You have no idea how long you have been a prisoner here. You're mostly alone in the room, doing nothing with a gag on your mouth. He occasionally comes back to feed you and himself. Sometimes you hear loud sounds from the other rooms. He tortures the woman, she screams and begs him to stop, but he doesn't. You hear a whip hit the naked flesh of the woman, but for some reason he doesn't harm you, only the woman. You haven't seen anything for a long time. You have no idea what he looks like. Sometimes you hear sobbing, but it doesn't belong to the woman, to the captor. He cries loudly for some reason. Some day or night, you can't figure it out, he shows up and takes your gag off. I have done research about you, learned everything I could. He says your name, shocking you. We have some common points. We both like the dark. We are both outcasts, lonely souls in the world of darkness. I will make you an offer, only once, so make your decision wisely. I can make you an immortal like me. You will no longer be in chains. You will have a life or unlife in the dark, like you have always wanted. You can stay as a mortal and wait for the day you will die here as my prisoner. I'ma become an immortal because that other option is shit. Very well, he says. Stand up. You stand up and allow your master to embrace you. You feel his fangs on your neck once again, but this time he doesn't stop. You feel your whole blood is getting drained. Soon you lose consciousness. And now everything is red. You open your eyes. You find yourself lying in a wooden coffin, but this time you are able to see. There isn't any single light source in the concrete room, but you see your environment as if you were wearing night vision goggles. You are wearing your old clothes and also gloves, so you can't see your skin. You have lost your hair. It is shed. Your old hair is on the coffin's part where you put your head on, and you feel your face change too. Okay, that sentence is lost in translation. Basically, it's saying your hair fell out on the pillow in the coffin. But the most significant change is an unbearable thirst, but not for water. Welcome to a new start, my child. You hear his voice. You look around the room but can't see him. There are 2 coffins and a mirror in the room. They think that our kind can't be seen in the mirror. False. Take a look at yourself. You step outside the coffin and walk to the mirror. You are in terror of what you see. You don't carry a human face anymore. Your skin has scales like a snake. It is the color of a light gray, almost white. Your ears are long and have pointed tips. Your eyes are red. You slowly open your mouth to see your sharp teeth. You scream, break down, and cry in despair. Then you feel his hand, or claw to be exact, on your shoulder. He stands on your back. He stands on your back. Do you mean he stands behind me? Or is my vampire master standing on my back? It's like a massage. I stand here, I jump on you. We saw them do it in Fiji. Now you're able to see his hand. It is scaled like your skin. Look at me, he orders you. But you can't, because he's standing on your back. And for some reason, you can't disobey your master. You involuntarily look in the mirror to see the immortal entity behind you. His body is tall, naked, and has a humped back. His skin is almost white and scaled, but his face is the ugliest thing you have ever seen. It has nothing to do with being a vampire. He was ugly always. It is the embodiment of evil, torture, murder, rape, and envy. Envy for everything that is pretty and fair. I will teach you everything I know. Your new and only parent says with a hideous smile. The end. The game has 3 endings. 3 endings would be die immortal, go back to the campsite at the very beginning, and become vampire. Right. So at no point in that did we get a sound effect jump scare, despite the fact that I was expecting it. So far, I think that was my favorite of the stories we've done so far. If you liked it too, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, or suggestions down in the comment section below. But for right now, as always, Frost Squad, have a good day, have a good life, and I'll catch you all down the road.